Foyan, number 7. Self-knowledge. I tell people to get to know the self, but seekers who hear this equate it with what beginners see, and think there is nothing hard to understand about it. You should take it more slowly for a while and be more careful. What do you call the self? How about the sayings of ancient worthies on the self? Like, roaming the mountains, enjoying the rivers. You say, I understand. Who else is it? Another saying goes, it is yourself. You say, I understand this too. It is myself. But how about the reply, mountains, rivers, the whole earth? It is also said, when you eat, the meal is yourself. How do you understand that? You still can't get to it. An ancient worthy said, the whole earth is yourself, so how can you clear your mind? Whenever I see that people have misunderstood, I quote ancient stories to question them. For example, Jin Qing asked Xuan Sha, I have just entered the school. Please point out a way in. And Zhang Xua said, do you hear the sound of the valley stream? Jin Qing said, yes. And Zhang Xia said, enter from here. Jin Qing got the message from this. I ask you, when he heard, what did he hear? Everyone says he heard the sound of the water, but what use is such an interpretation? According to their view, the hearing clearly takes in everything at once, so there is no sound to be found apart from this hearing. Everything being in manifestation from one's subjectivity, it is representation of active consciousness. Some answer that it was not the sound of the water he heard, but his self. To this I say, how can the self hear the self? This is what is called recognizing mind, recognizing nature. Buddhism is an easily understood, energy-saving teaching. People strain themselves. Seeing them helpless, the ancients told people to try meditating quietly for a moment. These are good words, but later people did not understand the meaning of the ancients. They went off and sat like lumps with knitted brows and closed eyes, suppressing body and mind, waiting for enlightenment. How stupid, how foolish. Step back and see. An early teacher said, it is the wind ringing, or is it the chimes ringing? He should have stopped right there, but he went on to vex others by saying, it is not the wind or the chimes ringing, but only your mind ringing. What further opportunity to study do you seek? When Zen came to China, an early teacher said, it is not the wind or the flag moving, it is your mind's moving. The ancient teacher gave this testimony. Why don't you understand? Just because of subject and object. That is why it is said, the objective is defined based on the subjective. Since the objective is arbitrarily defined, it produces your arbitrary subjectivity, producing difference where there is neither sameness nor difference. People nowadays talk about certain discernment, but how do you discern with certainty? It is not a matter of declaring this is an initiatory saying, this is a saying for beginners, that is a saying for old-timers. It's not like that at all. As a matter of fact, letting go all at once is precisely how to discern with certainty. There will be no different focus at any time. You get up in the morning, dress, wash your face, and so on. You call these miscellaneous thoughts. But all that is necessary is that there be no perceiver or perceived when you perceive, no hearer or heard when you hear, no thinker or thought when you think. Buddhism is very easy and very economical. It spares effort. But you yourselves waste energy and make your own hardships. If you do not see the ease, Then sit for a while and examine the principle. Since you've come here to study Zen, don't come here with imagination, figuring like you find in other places. Just step back and look, and you will surely understand. However, there are those who accept attunement, and those who do not. There are the foolish and the wise. There are those who can be saved, and those who cannot be saved. Those who do not accept attunement insist on fluctuating habit-ridden consciousness and energy from food, or on using fluctuating habit-ridden consciousness and energy from food. When questioned, they make their eyes bulge, walk back and forth, hold up their regalia, accepting and approving perceptions and emotions in the dimness of their skulls and bodies. This is irredeemable. Irremediable. Just let go. Step back and look. Only then will you understand. There are senior students of a certain type who say, I do not reason, I make no calculations, I'm not attached to sound and form, I do not rely on either the pure or the impure. The sage and the ordinary mortal, delusion and enlightenment are all completely empty. There are no such things in the great light. They are shrouded by the night of knowledge, attached to an extreme of knowledge. This is also irremediable. Of these two illnesses, the former is slighter than the latter. If those who have illness are willing to set it aside, step back and look, they too will naturally understand. This task spares energy to the utmost. The way of the ancients is very economical and most quintessential. Why do you waste energy? Sometimes I observe seekers come here expending a lot of energy and going to great pains. What do they want? They seek a few sayings to put in a skin bag. What relevance is there? Nevertheless, there is a genuine expedient that is very good, though only experienced seekers will be able to focus doubt on it. Hold on. It is like when Zhang Sha was going to give a talk on the teaching one day, but didn't speak a single word, no matter how long. The assembly stood there. Finally, they began to leave in twos and threes. Zhang Sha remarked, "Look, today I have really helped them, but not a single one gets it. If I start flapping my lips, though, they'll immediately crowd around." So you come here seeking expedient techniques, seeking doctrines, seeking peace and happiness. I have no expedient techniques to give people, no doctrine, no method of peace and happiness. Why? If there were any expedient technique, it has had the contrary effect of burying you, entrapping you. Jiao said, "Just sit looking into the principle. If you do not understand in 20 or 30 years, cut off my head." This, too, was to get you to become single-minded. Have you not read how the second patriarch of Zen used to expound the teaching wherever he was, and everyone who heard him attained true mindfulness? He did not set up written formulas and did not discuss practice and realization or cause and effect. At the time, a certain meditation teacher heard about the Zen patriarch and sent a senior disciple to spy on his lectures. When the disciple didn't come back, the meditation teacher was enraged. When they met at a major convocation, the teacher personally said to his former disciple, "I expended so much energy and effort to plant you. How could you turn your back on me in this way?" The former disciple replied, "My vision was originally right, but it was distorted by teachers." And Zen study is like this. Later, someone asks Zhu Feng, "How is it when one's vision is originally correct but distorted by teachers?" Zhu Feng said, "Confused encounter with the founder of Zen." The seeker asked, Where is one's own vision? Su Fing said, "It is not gotten from a teacher." This is the way you have to be before you attain realization. Of old it was said, enlightenment is always with people, but people subjectively pursue things. In Scripture it says, if you can turn things around, they are the same as realization of suchness. But how can things be turned around? It is also said, all appearances are unreal. If you see appearances are not inherent characteristics, then you see realization of suchness. Just step back, stop mental machinations, and look closely. When suddenly you see, nothing can stop you. All the way through. No delusion, no enlightenment. Only when you have arrived at such a state are you comfortable and saving energy to the maximum degree. But this is simply being someone without delusion or enlightenment. What is there deluding you 24 hours a day? You must apply this to yourself and determine on your own. All realms of existence are there because of the deluded mind. Right now, how could they not be there? Once you realize they are not there, they cannot delude your feelings, and certainly cannot do anything to you. It is necessary to attain the reality where there is no delusion and no enlightenment before you can become free and unfettered. People on the journey call this the reality under the vest. If this reality is not fully realized, it is a disaster. The patriarch Ashvaghosha explained 3 subtle and 6 coarse aspects of mentation. Stir, and there is suffering. How to not stir. Uttering a few sayings does not amount to talking of mysteries and marvels, or explaining meanings and principles. Sitting meditation and concentration do not amount to inner freedom. Think about it independently. Other people do not know what you're doing all the time. You reflect on your own. Are you in harmony with truth or not? Here you cannot be mistaken. Investigate all the way through. When my late teacher appeared in the world to teach, he said, I rise from this jewel flower throne and sit upon it every day, along with all of you. It is just that you avoid what is right before you. This is a good saying. He also remarked, in over 10 years at one place, I could not find a worthy opponent. Only when I went elsewhere did I actually see such a person as would live up to my sense of indignation. Good words. Few people can talk like this. I spent over 30 years journeying. You people were not even born when I found the way. If younger folk believe what I am talking about, you will step back each day, look into yourselves, and see all the way through. Comprehending everything. The Zen school is called the School of Cassiopeia. Cassiopea's great absorption and quiescence. Without stirring a thread, all is understood. Without stirring a hair, all is realized. Except renunciation. It is not just a matter of stirring and letting go at that. Do not rouse the mind or stir the thoughts throughout the 24 hours of the day, and you should be able to comprehend everything. This is called being member of the Cassiopea's school. Only then can you enter the great absorption and quiescence. Now what is there that acts as mental objects and an obstruction? Although people can investigate, people can study, They cannot understand by arousing the mind and stirring thoughts. When you encounter a situation or hear a saying, if your thoughts stir, your mind gets excited, and you make up an interpretation. In any case, you're in a scattered state. When Elder Ming has accomplished nothing good or bad, only then did he manage to see. Thereupon he said, although I was in the school of the fifth patriarch of Zen, I really did not know what the Buddha meant by saying, not this shore, not the further shore, not the current in between. Nanquan said, it is not Buddha, it is not a thing. This is precisely what you're focusing on now. Simply study in this way. Just as a scholar has the attitude of an official once he's passed the civil service examination, you must come to the realization that you are Buddha. Only then will you be free from doubt. Each of you must take responsibility for this yourselves. Don't pass the time pursuing the hubbub.
Hubbub. What's a hubbub?
Getting a little sleepy today. Seek without seeking. There is something in each of you that you will only be able to perceive when you turn around. So how does one turn around? By non-seeking seeking. Seeking without seeking. This is precisely what people find hard to deal with or to get into. How can you seek if you are not seeking? How could you not seek if you are seeking? If you seek, how is that different from pursuing sounds and chasing forms? If you do not seek at all, how are you different from inert matter? You must seek. And yet without seeking, not seek, yet still seek. If you can manage to penetrate this, you will then manage to harmonize seeking and non-seeking. So it is said, non-seeking, the body of reality is perfectly quiescent. Seeking, responsive function does not miss. Seeking without seeking, non-seeking, objects and cognition merge. Substance and function are one. Therefore, you find the 3 bodies, 4 knowledges, 5 eyes, 6 supernatural powers all come to light from this. Students must be able to turn around and search all the way through in this way before they can attain realization. The seeker asked Yang Shan, what special pathway do you have? Please point it out to me. Yang Shan said, if I said there is anything in particular, or nothing in particular, I would confuse you even more. Where are you from? The seeker said he was from such and such a place. And Yang Shan asked, do you still think of that place? The seeker replied, I think of it all the time. Yang Shan said, what you think of are the buildings, towers, and habitations, of which there are a variety. Now think back to what thinks. Is there a variety of things there? The seeker replied, there is no variety of things there. Yang Shan said, based on your perception, you have only attained one mystery. You have a seat and are wearing clothes. Hereafter, see for yourself. The seeker said that the object of thought is varied, while the thinker is not varied. This view is biased. This is what prompted Yang Shan to say that he had only attained one mystery. His perception of the path was not accurate. If you ask me, the object of thought, with a variety of buildings and houses, is in fact not various, while the unvaried thinking subject is in fact various. This can be demonstrated. Right now, there is a variety before your eyes, which are not so many of these. There are not so many of these. There are, similarly, many types of the unvaried. When the seer, who has a big name that I'm not going to even try, Yeshobhoba, took the seeker Sodhana by the hand, Sodhana saw Buddhas numerous as atoms in the infinite worlds. When the seer let go of Sodhana's hand, everything was as it had been before. Now do you understand this reversion to normal on the Now how do you understand this reversion to normal on the release of the hand? You better understand. Okay. Alright, last one. Original reality. An ancient sage said, every phenomenon is the original reality. Fine. Human held up his cane and said, this is not the original reality. After a pause, he said, if so, then the 3 poisons, 4 perversions, 5 clusters, 6 senses, 12 media, 18 elements, and 25 realms of being are not the original reality. Why not understand in this way? You'd save quite a bit of effort. Buddhism is a most economical affair, conserving the most energy. It has always been present, but you do not understand. I tell you, moreover, that there is nothing that is true and nothing that is not true. How can there be truth and untruth in one thing? Just because of seeking unceasingly, everywhere is seeking. Pondering principles is seeking. Contemplating the model cases of the ancients is also seeking. Reading Zen books is also seeking. Even if you sit quietly, continuously, from moment to moment, this too is seeking. Do you want to understand? Then that seeking of yours is not actually seeking. It is extremely difficult to believe and to penetrate, hard to work on. Those of you who are not comfortable are that way, generally speaking, because you are neither oblivious or excited. That is why you say you do not understand. Right now, how can you avoid being oblivious or excited? When that very thought of yours arises, it is the flowing whirl of birth and death. Do you consider it habit-activated consciousness, or do you consider it immutable? Contemplate in this way over and over again, and you will have a bit of guiding principle. Ooh. It's too hot. All right. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.